Scott Peterson. He's a representative of the Educators Network for Social Justice. He's also a 5th grade teacher at La Escuela Fratney.
Thank you. On behalf of Educators Network for Social Justice, I want to thank all of you for coming to this rally. And I do speak as a classroom teacher with 30 years experience. I was laid off in 1982 as a teacher for a year from Milwaukee Public Schools. So I feel some of your pain, those of you who are laid off. I also am a founding member of Educators Network and an activist in our teachers union. My message today is quite simple. These layoffs from MPS are not inevitable. There are solutions, and we must fight for those solutions at the local, state, and federal level. At the federal level, there is a Put Our Educators Back to Work bill introduced by Iowa Senator Tom Harkin. In essence, it is a stimulus bill focused on counteracting the estimated 300,000 teacher layoffs across this nation that will happen this September. Clearly, this is a national problem, and there must be national solutions. Before the end of the day, I ask you all to call Senator Cole and Senator Feingold's office and demand that they support the Harkin bill. If this country has the money to bail out Goldman Sachs and the banks, to say nothing about spending billions of dollars on wars that have no end in sight, it certainly has the money to fund our children's future. At a state level, legislators should support the Penny for Kids campaign led by the Wisconsin Alliance for Excellent Schools. And in the long run, we must insist that our policymakers fix what everyone agrees is broken. That is, our system of how we fund public schools in Wisconsin. And finally, we must demand that our locally elected officials, from school board to mayor to legislators, support the solutions that are at hand. Now we know that Mayor Barrett and County Executive Scott Walker are running for governor on a jobs platform.
Where are they? Where are they?
Well, they must walk their talk. If a Milwaukee factory was eliminating 700 jobs, they would be bending over backwards with financial incentives. Why are they silent about the 700 MPS layoffs? Remember, there are solutions to not only these layoffs, but the larger problems of funding in public education. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Josie Perez, a member of Voz de la Frontera, as well as a recent MPS graduate. I'm here both as a student and as a community member to say that cutting over 700 teaching positions is wrong. It's terrible as it is that MPS is struggling to achieve national standards. So how do we expect to better prepare our students for the future if we keep diminishing the amount of educators in a school while simultaneously increasing classroom sizes? I'm here to ask our senators Feingold and Cole to pass the Keep Our Educators Working Act. Thank you for your time.
I am State Senator Spencer Cobbs, and I am here because I support our teachers. I see that you support our teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the shoes. Look at the shoes. We see the shoes, and I see citizens, I see parents, I see students, I see babies, and I see women about to give birth. And we all have the same question. If we lay off 700 personnel, doesn't that hurt our children? Doesn't that hurt our children? If we have less graduates, who's going to run the city? Yes. We have to restore that money. And so I'm in favor of Senator Harkin's legislation so that the city of Milwaukee and the state of Wisconsin can access part of that $23 billion. Don't our children deserve it, and don't our teachers deserve it? So what we have to do is we have to ask Senator Harkin, we have to ask Senator Feingold, and we have to ask Senator Cole to step up for our children.
I am so honored to be here at this gathering. And while we're all friends, we're not here to celebrate. We are here to exercise democracy. And that is to speak out and to protest the cutting off of our future generation. Not just the kids' education, but those people who are going to work to sustain all of us. This is the time to do what we do best, and that is to practice democracy and to demonstrate that to our children. But this is not just about laying off 700 teachers and other personnel and depriving them of their jobs. This is about stacking our kids up in classrooms where they have to share that learning with 50 other kids. This is about them having no library, about them having no computers, about them becoming obese because they have no gym. My good friend Dave Obey says, well, you know, we can all just, we can just do this for a couple of years. Why don't we just put up with this for a couple of years until our economy recovers? Well, the economy may recover, but our kids will not recover. I'm convinced to provide the $23 billion that we need to stop not only the layoff of 700 teachers in Milwaukee, but 300,000 teachers across the country, grinding public education to a halt. But I can tell you that there are colleagues of mine that are saying, oh, well, what about the deficit? What about deficit spending? What about the deficit of learning that will occur? What about the deficit of scientists to try to help us figure out how to get invasive species out of our Great Lakes, our source of fresh water? What about the deficit of learning in biomedical engineering that's going to be the new source of income for the next generation? What about the dearth of learning that is going to occur to take us into the next energy economy? That is the deficit that we need to be working on.
We have a recession that was caused by malfeasance on Wall Street that has caused the worst fiscal crisis for state and local government since the Great Depression. And if we had not had a Recovery Act last year to fill the gap, then we would have had these cuts last year. And so if we're going to teach a lesson to our kids, we need to teach them the lesson that when someone does something wrong, when the powerful do something wrong, it shouldn't be they who pay the price. Without services, with huge class size, and with their educators, the people they depend on for economic opportunity, for a leg up in this society to make them pay the price, they should learn that we will step up as a society and take care of it, and to do what is right and what is just. And right now, this is a national problem. This is not just Milwaukee. There are 300,000 educators that may lose their jobs across the country this year. It is in the U.S. Senate. We know Congresswoman Moore is there to fight for us. Senator Feingold and Senator Cole need to step up to the plate and also to push their fellow colleagues to get this done.
We need to stay in contact until this is resolved. If this is what we can do after 1 week, imagine what we can do to save future educators from losing their jobs next year and the year after, and so on and so on. And none of our kids can afford to just skip a year in their education. Every year counts for them. So if you have not yet signed up to one of the clipboards, please do so. Raise your hands people. They'll be making their way through. If you don't get a chance to sign on to one of the clipboards, please go to ensj.org. You can sign on there and we will be in contact with you. So, thank you to all of our speakers once again. Thank you to the weather for holding off so we didn't get dumped on while we're standing out here. And thank you to all of you for caring about MPS students and the future of Milwaukee. Thank you.